Welcome to the Doherty Water for Food podcast. Since 2010, the Doherty Water for Food Global Institute at the University of Nebraska has worked toward one goal, a food and water secure world. One in which global food security is ensured without compromising the use of water to meet other essential human and environmental needs. It's a daunting vision, but one that is vitally important. This podcast amplifies the voices of those making waves in this space. We hope you enjoy today's episode.
Welcome to the Water for Food podcast. I'm your host, Frances Hayes, Director of Communications and Public Relations at the Doherty Water for Food Global Institute at the University of Nebraska. When we talk about water security, we often focus on availability, having enough water to grow our food and support our communities, but quality is just as critical. How do we track what's in our water, and how does that data inform the decisions made on the farm and in our labs? To answer those questions, we're going behind the scenes today at the Water Sciences Laboratory at the University of Nebraska. The Water Sciences Lab is a part of both the Nebraska Water Center and DWFI, so both entities benefit from the cutting-edge work of this lab. Today I'm joined by its research lab manager, Jenna Duncan. We'll be discussing how the lab uses cutting-edge technology like mass spectrometry to monitor our resources, the real-world impact of agricultural management, and why emerging contaminants like PFAS are changing the landscape of water research. It's a fascinating look at the science that protects our most precious resource. Jenna, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So to get started, what drew you to water science, and what was your professional path to becoming the lab manager here at the Water Sciences Lab just over a year ago?
Yeah, so I started off as a forensic science major, and I was looking for a lab to work in to get some experience outside of the classroom, and this place showed up, and I actually just fell in love with it immediately. I started taking some more chemistry courses as well, and then I just loved chemistry. And then I also loved the work that we do here. Like, I felt like I was a part of something bigger. That was one reason I wanted to go into forensics, was to help out my community, help out my country, everywhere. And I feel like we do that here. I feel like I'm making a big impact for everyone, everywhere, for water quality, food security, and it just feels really nice. And then I just worked my way up from intern to technician, and then I became the manager.
Well, you are making a difference, so we're glad that you're here. How would you describe the daily operations of the Water Sciences Lab? So who are your primary clients? What parameters do you typically measure with a water sample? Things like that.
So we have over 250 different methods, and we have a lot of clients from all over the place. Most of them are going to be researchers that are affiliated with UNL or other University of Nebraska campuses. But we also get samples from other countries like Argentina, or we'll get some samples from Portugal, Mexico, anywhere from anybody. And then most of the time, at least recently, we're testing a lot of PFAS. We're testing a lot of herbicides, and nitrate isotopes are our most common tests right now. But we do test for like almost anything, it feels like.
What's the weirdest thing that you test for?
Oh gosh. I think at least the weirdest saying out loud is that we test cow burps for hydrogen.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Would never have guessed that.
Yep.
So you mentioned some of the things that you measure. So you use the specialized equipment like mass spectrometry and isotopic analysis. So how do these tools enhance your capabilities here at the lab compared to standard water testing of, like, maybe I get a water testing strip at my house and I test that? Can you talk about your exceptional capabilities here at the lab?
Yeah, for sure. So you can just see a lot more with the specialized equipment. So I can always just get like a pH test or something like that at home and just dip it in, look at the color. But here at the lab, our equipment, we're able to actually separate out like different compounds or different metals. We can measure things like PFAS that are really complicated, very complex to measure, or just really expensive, where you actually have to separate like all of the molecules by like masses or by charges.
One of my questions is about PFAS. I think we all are starting to hear that term nowadays. Sometimes they're called forever chemicals. Can you talk about those and why they're getting so much attention now, and what makes them a harder thing to trace than, say, something like nitrate?
So PFAS, it's going to be a synthetic, man-made chemical, and it's literally everywhere. It's in your makeup, your hair products, your nonstick pans, anything waterproof. It's just all over, literally everywhere, it feels like. And the S in PFAS is actually going to be for substances. So there are thousands of PFAS. So that's one thing that makes it a lot harder to measure, because you have to pick out which ones you're looking for. But you also can't just mix together a bunch of reagents with your sample like what you can do with nitrate. You just mix everything together, heat it up, and then put it through a lamp filter for colorimetric analysis. And then however intense that color is, that's how much nitrate you have. But for PFAS, you actually have to go through something more specialized like a LCMS, where you put the sample through a column where all the PFAS will get separated before it hits the detector.
Are there a lot of other labs that are doing similar things to what you do, or is there anything specialized that you do here at the lab beyond what we might see at another similar lab?
Yeah. I'm not sure how far other labs go with PFAS, but I know that we have two methods that we do for it. We have the EPA 1633 and 537.1. I want to say 1633 is the most popular that you're going to find in other labs, but other than that, I'm not really sure.
Okay. So why do you think that it's so important to measure the quality of both our groundwater and our surface water resources?
Because everything is connected. Everything relates to each other, but also both are very important for keeping our ecosystems very healthy. Without good groundwater, then our agriculture is not going to be very good. Same with our surface water. All of it's just equally important for our health and the health of our environment.
And you mentioned agricultural water management. So we might talk sometimes about how agricultural management can impact our water quality. Maybe that's over application of nutrients, things like that, that then can get into our water quality and have a negative impact there. Do you see this relationship working in reverse? So can your findings of the lab help shape agricultural decision making? So then you're having the water quality impact the agricultural management.
Yeah, for sure. I like to think of it sometimes as like an early warning system. So maybe you're testing out some things and you just want to see how these new practices you're trying, or maybe something you've been doing for a while, how that is affecting your soil or your water. And then you can see, based on what you're testing, because there's so much, whether those differences in your practices had a positive or a negative effect on the quality of your groundwater or your soil or anything like that.
How have you seen like the results of your lab testing play out in policy and things of people making changes to protect our resources?
I do not do a whole lot with policy, so I'm not sure about that. I mostly just give them their results, and then if they have any questions about it, like, oh, what should I do? We can give them access to some resources if they are interested.
Okay.
Or if they want to talk to some policymakers, then we could be like, oh yeah, this is who you would reach out to.
Purely the data provider.
Yes.
Do you work with a lot of Nebraska's natural resources districts? Do they bring samples to you to have you test?
Yes, all the time. We work with a lot of NRDs, especially with our project, Know Your Well. We work with different NRDs around Nebraska to test, well, honestly, various things. I see a lot of the time it's pesticides, and then also some PFAS maybe.
And I mentioned that the lab sits both inside the Nebraska Water Center and the Doherty Water for Food Global Institute, where we work on global water and food security issues. Is Nebraska's water quality situation unique, or does it mirror what's happening in other agricultural regions around the world?
I think our water is unique, but you could say that about everything everywhere. Water here is going to be different than water in like Iowa or something. But one of the bigger problems in Nebraska for contaminants is going to be nitrate heavily because of the agricultural practices that we've had. And then I have noticed, I can't say for all agricultural regions everywhere, but for many agricultural regions throughout the world, they also have a nitrate problem. So I do think that it is mirrored in some aspects, but then unique in others.
What is a project or result from your time in the lab so far that you're personally proud of?
I'm really proud of our Know Your Well project, because that's a lot of participatory community science, educating people throughout rural Nebraska about water quality and how to test their wells that they're using on a daily basis, and then what to do if something is alarming like nitrate. We can help provide those resources.
And our team recently did a project on Know Your Well and made a video and story online, so I encourage our listeners to check that out too. What is one thing that you wish more people understood about water quality in agriculture or water quality in general?
Probably that there's always new research every day, and that might change how we see certain things. So as new research comes out, maybe something we were doing before that we thought was safe, and now suddenly, maybe we shouldn't do that as much anymore. I wish people understood that more. Not saying that the majority of people don't get that, but there's just some.
Yeah, we don't always know everything about everything, and our job is to, when we get new knowledge, pivot our practices or try to do better in that sense. So, what is next for the lab in terms of emerging contaminants, new methodologies or equipment? Is there anything new coming down the line that you're excited about?
Yes. So we did just get a grant to get some new equipment at the lab. And that's going to include a new IRMS, which is for isotope analysis. We will also get new ICP-MS and ICP-OES for metals. And then for a new method, we're going to get a GC triple quad with a pyrolyzer. And that will allow us to start analyzing micro and nanoplastics. So that'll be a whole brand new thing for us that I'm excited and nervous about it.
All those words sound very foreign to me, but I can tell that you're very passionate about what you do. What does that mean practically? Like, what new things can you measure, or what does that mean for the future of the lab?
Yes. So most of that equipment that I mentioned, we already have that equipment. Mm-hmm. They're just pretty old. So we just need to update them, get some new equipment in here so we can continue to analyze like nitrate isotopes, or like different heavy metals and stuff like that. But the GC, that will allow us to start measuring microplastics and nanoplastics, because we've had quite a few people ask about that, but we just haven't had the capabilities to do it. So we'll just have that as our new method.
Do you know how long the lab has been around?
I want to say 30 years, about.
And you employ some full-time staff and some students as well that are interested in the field?
Yep, for sure.
And your services are open to anyone, right? Like not just NRDs or someone connected to a university. Is that correct?
Yes, for sure. Anybody. We'll take samples or questions from anyone, anywhere.
Well, I think that's all I have for today, but are there any other topics that we didn't discuss that you'd like to mention?
Not off the top of my head.
Well, thank you for joining us today, and what a great resource the lab is, both to our university community and also our state. Being able to have these tools so close to home is really essential to keeping our water safe for everyone. And so thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us this time on the Doherty Water for Food podcast. Make sure to visit our website, waterforfood.nebraska.edu, to view show notes or subscribe so you don't miss future episodes.